Well, hi guys, Paul here from PABrewNews. Trying to get you a little bit away from any glare. Well, glare last time. We'll call that good. Gonna do a painting today. Obviously, we have the dark canvas going on right now. I prepped it with a little bit of oil to make it slick and wet and ready to go. Put a little bit of transparent color in there just to give it a little bit of a flavor when we start going. Right now, the thing is, there was a guy on Twitter. He asked me about mixing mud and how he has thin paints, and the thinner you get, the more likely you are that you're going to start mixing mud. When thin paints, they're not sticking to each other and they kind of just blend together right on the canvas, you become a mud mixer. And I think all of us who have painted for quite a long time, we've mixed some mud. Yo, what's up, Chris? How you doing? We've mixed some mud in our time, so what I'm trying to do now is, since I have thin paints today, I'm using only thin paints. Oh, Dragon, what's up? I'm using only thin paints because lately I've been struggling with the same issue because all the paints that I've been buying recently, the Bob Ross stuff, has been coming in and it's been way too thin. They have a new distributor, a new production line, so hopefully they're going to fix that. One of the other paints that I've been using lately is Winton. I've been using them because you can get them on sale. They're relatively thicker than the stuff coming from the Bob Ross company that is too thin. So, you know, kind of mix and match and play with your own thing, and you can get them on sale. Usually at AC Moore pretty cheap. So right now, we're going to do a painting. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. We're just kind of going to go with the flow, see what we can come up with. But, yeah, let's just have a fun time and see what's going on. And we're going to just kind of focusing on creating a painting using thinner paints. And one of the reasons why I did this is because if you have a dark background, your dark's already done. You don't have to put a layer of semi-thin black or dark color now, since that's already done. Because what happens sometimes is you start putting a lot of black color or dark color on there, but it's not firm. Then you start mixing that lighter highlights over it, it's going to start mixing into mud. Or if you get so thin, your stuff's like ink. It's just so you can try to get it to stick. Doesn't work out so well. On the other thing is too, if you want to try to make bushes and things like that, make sure there's a lot of paint on that brush, a lot of paint. So sometimes not enough paint will cause it to, yeah, got flutes over here playing flutes, having a good time, doing some paintings. Anywho, let's get into this one. I'm just gonna go right into a little fan brush action and get some white on the brush. Load some white on the brush. Push a little white in the brush and it's going to come up here, and we're just going to roll in a little. We're going to just drop the brush because that happens all the time. Get it off my foot. We're just going to roll in some clouds. So just going to roll in some clouds. Just let them play and dance around. We don't care too much about it. You can see right there, I'm picking up a little bit of the white that I had in there too. So I like that up a little bit. Right there. Yeah. A nice bright one right about here. There. Now again, these are all thin paints, so it's harder to get these clouds to go the way you want without kind of just smearing everywhere. But we're going to try little floaty ones that kind of dance and wiggle them around. It doesn't matter. Gonna go and just kind of play them around, do the thing, make a couple little layers, push up a little bit, a little range here. Tap them in if you want. There's many ways to make clouds. Roll them in, tap them in, brush them in, whatever. Okay, that's definitely a mess. So that's what I wanted, that's what I got, a mess. And if you can see that the paint that was already on there, the blues, I put some blue, a little crimson now, made a little bit of a lavender color now again, but mostly it was blue. That's all good now. So we're gonna take a little bit of a 1-inch brush, beat it up, making sure it's nice and malleable. Come over here, and there's going to be a focal point right about here. So I want to work on top and then below. So on here, we're going to work the top of the clouds out by making little rolling circles. We're just going to blend these out. Just like that. Down here, moves the paint off the brush. We're going to go on the bottoms. Going to roll these this way. Lift them, grab them, move them. Tease them. Nice and thin paint though. So I mean, you have to have a very soft touch to do this, and sometimes I do not have the softest of touches. I'll be completely honest with you there. Sometimes, unfortunately, I'm a bull at a china shop, so. Sometimes you have to have such a light of a touch that literally your brush almost falls out of your hand sometimes. Especially when you're starting to, like, you're doing snow in the mountain. That's the lightness of the touch that you need. There. I'm not going to deuter it up anymore, or I'll just completely make a big mess. And we'll mix mud. The absolute thing we're not trying to do, you can end up doing just like that. Take a little knife up here, flick, and take that off. Come up here with a little bit of the white that we had, and let's just roll in some little whites. I'll break that outline up that we made. Have this one come back here with a little white ants right over that cloud. Back over here with this one. Press down. Give that a little bit of a. Tap in a little more color here and here. A little bit there. Okay. Something like that. It is challenging when you're using these very thin paints. Don't get me wrong, it is a booger. It is a real booger using some of these thinner paints. They don't like working with you. They don't like working with you. Fog it up, mist it up a little bit, just working around, trying to dissolve the moon in this mist that we're making. Don't try to deuter it up too much, otherwise you'll just start mixing mud again. One. That's good enough. A little bit of a crazy cloud. Looks like a little bit of a moon coming through the clouds. That'll work. For what we're doing, that'll work. Alright? Let's make some mess. Let's go. Dark colors. This is a thin. I'll tell you what, this black. I've never seen a black this thin before. But here it is. It's a thin black. Lee calls you while you're live. Because that's what happens. And okay, black, blues, browns, a lot of color on this brush. Alright, now we're going to come up here and we're going to figure out what's going on with these back hills. Right now I'm thinking something like this. There's some trees way far in the distance that you can see. Little ridge line of trees. Okay, something like that. Clean brush, tap the bottoms. What you do, clean your brush up, get a little bit of white paint, tap the bottoms with the white. Alright. Clean brush again, or you're just going back from clean to dirty brushes. Mix it up. Lift up. Give you a little bit of a separator, just the nuance of some separators in there. Get some fog going. Sometimes you can touch, lift up. Makes the indications of little tree trunks and things going on in there. But again, not a lot of paint, because you don't want to get it too crazy. Alright, little separator there. Gonna go back. I like that. That's good. We're gonna work on some more trees. These trees are good. Already got the color mixed up with the blues, browns, and blacks. We'll make a bigger tree. Right about there. There it is. Bigger tree. Using the foreground. She's a bit bigger. Another one right there. Okay, that's good. And maybe there's another one right here. Big one. Just like that for right now. Okay. Let's see. A little bit of a darker paint. This is definitely going to be a darker one by the way it looks. Let's go. I'm loving it. Beat the brush up a little bit. I'm going to come into some greens. Trying to put some color. A little bit of blue too. Dark. Tap some color into the brush. Right now I'm just going to start going like this, I think. Yeah. And the amazing thing is now we're getting color on the brush. It's amazing how color stands out so easy on these dark canvases. There. A little bit more. Maybe a little bit yellow in this one now. Change the flavor up a little bit. That. Now, take a little bit of that white that you had. Now there's moonlight there, so you can just touch a little bit here and there, just so it sparkles a little bit. but not too much. It'll ruin that illusion of that moonlight back there. Okay, take your knife. Let's cut off a little bit of that brown color. Let's see. Just a little indication of some land under some of this grass. Kind of wraps it around. Okay. Clear that off. A little bit of that white again. Lighter color. And just let it play through. There, that's good. Okay. Got some land going on that way. You can see some trees in the back. Alright, now I'm thinking. I think I need to clean my brushes more often. This thing's pretty. Over here. Yeah. A little bit of a liquid white in there too. Just to make it flow a little easier. Make those noises. They help. Just dances all the way over here. Splashes and plays. And comes down here. Another rock here. Big old thing going on there. And you're just playing light against dark, dark against light the whole time, just having fun. There it kind of meanders out and becomes a little thing down here where it's not so crazy. Blend that color right in there. Let that color come through. Let it come through. It's alright. Anywhere you see, you feel it, the highlight needs to be there, drop her in. Whole ridge of rocks up here on here, comes down and makes a little tidal pool. Kind of fun. There we go. It's really okay. There you go. That going on. What we got for time? Ooh, only 18. That's nice. All right. Clean up the little brush. Start working on some highlights quick for these back trees before they start getting angry at me. I'm just gonna go with some whites and some blues. Let that kind of that moonlight kind of reflect on these. If the highlights don't stick very well, add a little bit of liquid white just to thin down the paint just a little bit. With thinning down the paints for highlights, make sure that you just take a little bit at a time. Don't just throw it in there because you can always add more. It's a heck of a thing trying to get it out. So take your old knife first. Gotta have to take a little bit of that brown color mixed with the white that we had. Cut it off marbly. Come here and just touch. More color. Touch. That way. Yep. Again. Touch. Big one. And back here, you can have little things kind of sticking up, having a good time. You can see little peaks of some of these trees too. Old dead one kind of hangs out that way. That's all it's always got it. There you go. Little highlights going on there. That guy's dead. So all you see is this little trunk one. He gave up. Alright, let's go through here, start doing highlights. Moonlight's coming this way. So you want most of them to be on this side. And darker and darker and darker as you go down the trunk. Getting those little nuances of light playing through some of these, just like that. Okay. Now see, there's a lot of thin paint on some of those highlights down there, so you do have the tendency of becoming a mud mixer. If you start putting a lot of stuff over that, you kind of work around certain things. All right, now we're going to go on this side. Reload the brush. We'll make sure you start get lots of paint on the brush. You don't want to just start smacking our brush. You don't want to smack a brush without any highlights on it, right on the black, because you'll just start mixing mud. I don't really talk about mixing mud and stuff too much because usually by that time I'm already doing it. I don't have to talk about it. I can see it. It's right there. It's happening. Let's tap, tap, tap a little bit. I'm gonna put the least little bit of paint there in there. So I just want to start forming a little bit of stuff you can see way back here. Little bit of land comes around here. Maybe the I see it. Dark color. Pull it out, cut across. Right here, we got to get big old thing going right there. One here, here. Big old rock right there. White color, brown color mixed together. Big old rock that just sits right there. Right about there. There. Put that into that color again. Start playing that color. There we go. Start playing that color right around. Like that. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's going on. Now we need something kind of in the foreground here to bring this thing all together. So why don't we just say screw it and take a big old brush with some big old dark colors on it. And just start popping in some stuff here. on that side. Some foliage that kind of wraps around this way. Maybe even something that you kind of shoots off this way. One right there too. Good. Okay. See that? A lot of paint on that brush to bend those bristles like that back. That's what you need to put a lot of those highlights on. Drop the brush again, clean it up with your foot again. A little bit more of that. We're going to go into these thinner paints. Mix them all on the brush, and then just come up here and start tap them in it. Reload the brush. Problem is, you can see it too. If you have working with really thin paint, you'll get to the point where you can actually start seeing the paint that you put on initially, the dark paint, let's just say that, it's going to start coming off on your brush. And that's how you get the first indication, like, okay, things are getting too thin. You have bad paint, thin paint on the canvas, so now you got to work on trying to remove that. Or at least work around that, I guess you could say. Here, here, here. A little bit more. Add a little bit of white to brighten it up. Pop in some little bushes, just like that. Okay. Here, we'll take some dark color, because why not? Because why not? And right here, we're gonna go near one, and we're gonna make a little tree. Right through my rock. Oh boy. All the way down. Yep. That just happened. Do it again. I come up here. Figure out where my tree goes. Just like that. All the way down. A little bit of a big old tree right in front of there. A little bit of brown and white, just like we had before. We're just going to use that same brown and white again. Marbling it up, put it across, and we're just going to follow it down. Let it kind of just grab and do its thing. It'll give you back what it doesn't want. Another real good brush, I have a smaller brush you could use, and it really stays within the lines then, because you're not trying to go too crazy. Come over with some dark color. Blend it all together. Nice old gnarly tree. All right. Now right on the side there, because we have all that water and moonlight, take a little bit of that light blue color. We're just gonna softly just put a little of that in there too. Or a lot, apparently. Again, dark color. Find out where you are. Drop the dark color over there, blend it back in. Make an old gnarly tree. Gnarly. Okay. Now we're gonna go get some liner brush time. Liner brush into some dark colors. Nice thin paint. That way we know we can roll it around and play with it. Now I'm going to do something different too. I'm going to take some liquid white as well. Gonna go. Excuse me. I know I'm in the way. Take that thin paint, and then I'm gonna take one side through the liquid white, just like that. And we're gonna kind of see if I can just kind of come through here and make a little limbs that kind of shoot off and go around. The way I'm using the liquid white too is I want to try to make the highlight the same time as I make the branch. Now I'm not saying it's going to work, but that's what I'm trying to do. And like same way you can kind of make stones too. Make lovely stones that way. There's that here. Down onto the tree. There, I'll beat up branch right about there. The dark color in there. Old branch, another tree or whatever part of the tree that never made it. Pop up a couple things here and here. Go through some of that dark color that we just had. Come through here and shoot up a little dooders here and there. Little branches. Same thing with here. Helps that a layer of distance in there. If it's too dark, you'll have to add some light to it because you won't be able to see it then. That's why you have to do that. Little things like that, just shoot them up down again. Especially down here where it's nice and dark. Little branches, little dooders. Nothing too crazy, just something like that. Okay. About ready to finish this painting up here, right in the front. Take your knife. I always like to scrape in little things too. Little sticks and twigs. Okay. Take your little highlight color that you got going on right down here. Nice and thin. A little more of that. Liquid white. That'll do it. Okay, and then we're just going to pop in the bush here. Next one there. I want to get this. Ooh, yeah. I haven't done that yet. Let's pop in. There we go. That's a firecracker. Yeah. Okay. Right back into it. A little bit green. Why not? Change the flavor a little bit. And that's good. Clean the brush off. Beat the devil out of it. You can go back through with your knife. You scrape a little this here and there just in case you want to. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. We are at 35, so I went over the mark that I wanted to, but hey, what the heck. Now, I did something else before we got going. So might as well see how this worked out. You never know. You never know. How did this work out? There you go. Well, there you go, guys. Episode 15. This went a little bit longer than I normally would, especially what I'd like to. I'd like this to keep it around the 30-minute mark. But again, we wanted to make sure that we took some time and talked about mud mixing and thinner paints and what kind of paintings you can create while working around those problems. There you go. But let me go and show you what we got done doing on today. Here's the painting we got done doing. A nice full moon full moon scene in a creek in the woods, with a little fun with tape too. You gotta have fun with tape. But oh, thanks a lot, Drunken One. I'm glad you enjoyed it. This has been Paul from PABrewNews with episode 15 of Painting with PABrewNews. We'll see you later for our next one, where I'm gonna focus on using really thin paint to make a painting and see what we can do. This has been Paul from PABrewNews. Cheers. Bye bye.